All right. We're live on YouTube. Let's see if I could okay. Now let's get live on Facebook. Could you write up a pinned message, maybe include a start that schedule up link and include the phone number to call? Short and simple. Oh, we had one viewer, actually. On what's up? We're just going live, so we're gonna have people calling in. I know we only have one watcher now, but comment if you have any questions below. I'm happy to get started now. See if I could pin a chat here.
What's the number?
You texted me the number, Sam. What's up, Paul? Appreciate your support. I'm going live on Facebook, and then we'll get right into it. Okay.
Actually, like this.
What's up, everyone? We're going to have some more questions. We're going to go live once a week. And here, I've already been going live once a week in Facebook, but in YouTube, we're going to go live once a week. And I'm setting it up so people are going to call in. I'll actually paste the number in the YouTube chat in a second. You got a good message?
I don't have access to that.
Sammy,
Yeah.
I need a message with the number and with the link. Just keep it short and simple. Start.schedule drop. But yeah, we're going to go live twice a week. Sam, I need this now.
Bro, I mean, you could have told me 10 minutes ago. Give me a fucking second. I know the link.
All right, guys, we'll be on soon.
Where do I get this one? You got my computer too.
I got it. Texting it to you.
I got it.
I got it, Sam.
Here's the message.
I got it. All right. Awesome. What's up, guys? We're going live. If you have any questions about cleaning, anything, comment down below. What is the average capital needed to get started? So that depends how much you want to invest into ad spend and marketing. But as far as having just the proper systems to get started, you'll need a scheduling software, you'll need insurance, you'll need a business line, you will need a domain. Just to have your systems, it's going to be around $200 to $250 a month in fixed costs. And then whatever you want to invest into advertising for cleaning, that's really up to you. If you're kind of on a budget, you probably want to invest more in like flyers and yard signs, stuff like that. But if you want to have a little more money to spend, I would invest in ads like Meta ads or Google local service ads as well. How often do I go live? We're going live every Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to be going live, so weekly. Let me put this here. I'm going to tag everyone just so they're joining. Nolan, that's very funny. I wish we won 100K in Vegas. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Should we say to 2 to 500? So two to 300 in just fixed costs, and that's just going to cover your scheduling software. That's going to cover your business line, insurance, in marketing. I would want to put as much as possible. And let's go, Paul. 5 recurring clients is awesome, but for marketing, you're going to want to invest as much as possible into ads, but don't spend what you're not willing to lose. So if you're willing to lose $500 hypothetically with no return, even though I'm sure you'll get some kind of return, I wouldn't spend more than that. So that's kind of how I would go about your advertising budget. Hey, Sammy, do me a quick favor. Go into the live and just tag everyone below it, please. Yep. With the number as well. But we're doing it a little different, guys. We're going to do a call-in. I'm calling it Cleaning Hotline, okay? So Cleaning Hotline is essentially going to be you call in, ask any questions, and I'll answer them, and that's pretty much it. Nolan, you're the man. One day we got to have Nolan on. He's watching right now. He's doing around, I think, 100K a month. That could be a little high. Nolan, what are you at right now? Comment below. The Facebook, yeah, it's like underneath the live, Sam. Just make sure you could tag everyone. I could try to do it too. Let's get some questions, guys. Ask some questions in the chat.
There's a lot of different Facebook.
You have an admin account.
Yeah. Set that right.
Got it.
There's nobody watching.
Okay, I'm going to do it. So, all right. All right, guys. Let's go back here. Yeah, Mike is actually awesome with meta ads. Mike Becerra, if anyone needs meta ads, Mike and Gray, they've been killing it with the ads. So, Paul, I'm happy that's working out for you. How much are you spending a month in meta ads, Paul? All right, we got some more people in the group. We're going to have people call in as well. You can comment down below if you have any questions, but if you want to call in any cleaning questions, we're covering hiring, lead gen, marketing, sales, and everything. So comment down below. And there's also a number you can call. It's 561-473-4102. So we could have a conversation. We could go over revenue, profit, how to increase margin, really anything. Nolan spent 16,000 or 18,000 on Meta ads last month, but this month he's spending 10K. Nolan, how much revenue should end up at 175,000 this month? That is crazy, Nolan. Are you having Mike running your ads, or are you doing it in-house? Cool. Let me go back to the. Let's go back to the YouTube channel. If you could focus on residential or commercial, which one and why? That's a good question. That's tough. It really depends on what you're starting at. If you were just starting out, I would say residential. But if you had to choose one and you had to stick with one forever, I would honestly still go with residential. I think commercial, you have a higher chance of scaling it to like 10, even $100 million company one day. But residential, you're more likely to hit 7 figures, 100K a month within a few years. I mean, there's so many people, Nolan, Mike, PJ on Twitter who are doing 100K a month strictly in residential. Asif, don't be soliciting, okay? All right. Not a good look, not a good look. But I appreciate the hustle. Yeah, but residential, commercial both have their own strengths. I mean, you got to figure out what's good for you. I have some friends who are in commercial. Shout out Jake. He's in commercial over in California, and he's got around, I think, like 30-something accounts now. And he's just going all in on commercial. And you definitely have less churn with commercial, especially once you lock them in contracts. You have slightly more overhead because if you really want to scale commercial, you kind of have to convert it from 1099 to W-2 versus residential. You could scale it, the 1099 model, pretty far. Commercial for my business, for me, but yeah, I mean, to each their own. Some people like commercial, some people like residential. Everyone's got to do their own thing. That's a good question. Mazina Network said, hey, quick question. Do you have problems with residential leads inputting cards to book? And what's your rebuttal for those leads who ask to speak to partner or spouse? So partner and spouse is always just comes down to a price objection. Everything comes down to a price objection. If they're trying to get you off the phone, if they say, I got to talk to my spouse, I got to talk to my husband, okay, let me just think about it. I got to talk to my roommate. It all comes down to a price objection. They were probably thinking you were going to be either much cheaper or maybe it's not that far of a difference and they want to shop around. They're going to be shopping around if they're saying it's they need to talk to their partner or spouse. They're not talking. They're calling another cleaning company. So I usually just break the ice and ask them, hey, if you don't mind me asking, what's your budget? And from there, it kind of opens a wall and they'll be like, hey, they're usually honest at this point and say, hey, I was really hoping to pay 150 and maybe you quoted them 200. And sometimes let's say I was really hoping to pay 100 and it was a $200 job and you might be able to close them at 150, but probably not. Or maybe it's, a $50 gap and you can meet somewhere in the middle. Maybe you quoted them a little higher than what you usually do. So I would just ask them what their budget is and kind of go from there. But do not let them off the phone when they say, I need to talk to my husband, I need to talk to my spouse. And also have some kind of excuse for dropping the budget. Don't just drop the budget for sake of dropping the budget, because they said they're going to talk to their husband or spouse, you're going to give them a better price. No, have some kind of discount code, have some kind of incentive, have some kind of reason. Maybe someone canceled, so you have more availability on Thursday, whatever that is, right? And then your question about inputting cards on file. So with Schedule Drop, you're able to actually just send them a link. So usually if they give me a hard time with putting a card on file, I'll say, no worries, I can send you a secure link via email and or Stripe, and you could add your card on file directly there for the booking. But if their issue is just paying in card in general, I still push to get a card on file. And, my kind of pitch is that we've serviced over 6,000 homes. If you look on our Google business, we have over 250 reviews. We're a secure site, we're a secure platform. You're kind of just go with that kind of pitch, and from there, if they're willing to put their card on file, great. If not, I'll send the secure link. And if they're still not willing to put their card on file, I kind of just feel them out. If the customer's clearly like an elderly lady and only ever pays with checks for the past 20 years, usually I'll let it slide maybe for one cleaning. But if something's suspicious and they don't really sound like trustworthy people, then I usually won't accept a card. Let's get some more questions. How do I promote myself better? How do I promote myself better? What leads? Well, first, I think it's important to just understand that no one knows you exist. And so you just need to put yourself out there. So the first thing I would do, it depends on what stage in your business, but if you're first launching, you should tell everyone you know about your business. But as far as just getting leads, getting interested clients, that you can't beat paid ads. Meta ads have been popping off for cleaning. LSA still works, just very expensive depending on your area. So I would run paid ads. I would tell every single person leverage any connection you possibly have. And then I would do some kind of guerrilla marketing techniques with yard signs, flyers, real estate events, BNI groups, network with people. A combination of everything is typically how it works. What works best? How do I get more connections? Jen, I would just, local connections, that's what you're referring to. Join BNI groups. BNI groups are great, a great way to network with not only just business owners in your area, but successful business owners. Most people in the BNI group have a somewhat successful business, mostly because they understand the value of networking, and they're going to be much more likely to refer you business rather than a random cleaning company on the internet. And I'm sure most people in the BNI group are realtors, plumbers, electricians. They all have a similar clientele, a similar ICP. So you'll get some referrals through that, and you'll meet some really cool people who will teach you how to advertise and get better connections. Jen also commented, what is the best advertising? There's not one thing that's the best advertising. I mean, it's what works for you. You have to test different things. You have to track different things. Google LSA might work for me and Meta ads might work for you, right? The only way you know that is by testing it out, by trying it, and by tracking that data and figuring out, okay, what's my cost per lead? What's my cost per close? What percentage of my close am I converting into recurring? How do you feel about Angie's? That's a good question. Angie's, I'm not a huge fan of Angie's by any means. I don't like how they lock you into contracts, and I think it's a lot of shared leads. I've had some people have some success with Angie's. I know someone who is on Schedule Drop, one of our Schedule Drop users, Jordan. I believe he got 3 or 4x return consistently off of Angie. So he had some good luck with it. Again, he's nurturing these leads very well, but it really depends on your area. Hi, Amy. Do you recommend hourly or flat rate pricing? Oh, for clients. I was thinking provider pay. For clients, I recommend flat rate pricing, and you could come up with that pricing based on estimated hourly rate. So for example, if you think it's going to take 3.5 hours, you might want to quote it for 4 hours. Your hourly rate for a deep clean might be $65. So do the math. For simplicity purposes, let's just say your hourly rate is $50, and you're estimating it to be 3.5 hours. You want to round up to 4 hours, just quote them $200. This way, if it takes less, it takes really 3 hours, you don't have to refund them anything. And also, when you tell someone it's $65, $75 an hour, they're like, $70 an hour for a cleaner? That's insane. But they're not factoring in that they have to show up, bring their own supplies, pay for gas. Age Regina, I am so sorry. I skipped your question. You are right. Where is it? How can I get ready to go accounts for commercial? I'm sorry, Adriana, but I actually don't know what ready to go accounts means. So if you could just elaborate on that, I'm happy to answer. How to go about pricing a commercial building, clean 2-story building with small offices, 5 bathrooms, 8,000 square feet, 5 times per week. I am nervous to underprice. Jill, let me ask you this. Do you clean yourself? And regardless of that, I actually wouldn't be able to tell you an accurate answer off the top of my head. What I would be able to say is that figure out how many hours you think it's going to take you, and give them a quote based off of that and based off what your hourly rate is and based off of what your cleaner labor cost is and what your supply costs and your insurance costs. I would bake all of that in. So figure out your costs per hour and then figure out how much margin you want to make on that job. If this is a 5 times a week cleaning, it's going to be pretty big contract. So you might not want to shoot for like 50, 60% margins. You might want to shoot for like 30% to lock that in. But one thing you guys could do when quoting commercial, which I've seen as really important, is in the contract for the initial month, you don't necessarily need to, sorry, I'm just reading a comment. In the initial contract, you could let them know like the first month, this is the price, but if the scope of work changes, if stuff changes, you're able to renegotiate after that initial month. So that first month could be like a test period. Just have that in the contract. That's mean I don't need to chase property manager. So Adriana, you're asking for how to find commercial clients that don't have a property manager, or you don't have to reach out to a property manager. I'm not really a commercial expert. I'm in Florida, by the way, Lotus Maids. I see you in Chicago, nice, beautiful city. But to get back to your question, Adriana, when it comes to commercial, I'm a big fan of just outreach, cold calling, hire setters to schedule appointments for you, walkthroughs for you. I would do cold emails and cold calling and just rip those two constantly. And the more volume, the better. Amy, how many cleaners do you recommend hiring in the beginning for a new cleaning business? I would do 2 to 3 cleaners in the beginning, and you could let them know. I would test clean 2 to 3 cleaners. One of those is probably going to fail, so you'll probably have 2. You might want to even do closer to 3 to 4 test cleans, because if one fails, 3 pass, or maybe even 2 fail, right? You have 2 solid cleaners. So I would try to test clean around 4 cleaners, and just be transparent with them. If you guys are just starting, like, these cleaners are 1099, so a lot of them have their own clientele, their own work. They don't expect you to immediately fill up their schedule, as long as you're transparent with them and just let them know that, like, hey, we're just starting off. We're in the process of growing. I'm not going to immediately be able to fill up your schedule, but I can promise you, if you do good work, if you're honest, if you show up on time, if you're professional, we'll continue giving you more and more work until your schedule is full. Now, I got to read the YouTube comments because we're also live on YouTube. So trying to do 2 things at once here. Amy, I'm still waiting on a response from you. So reach out to me after this. But someone commented, my bullshit tolerance is low. How do you deal with lower class type of applicants, especially trusting them in people's home? It seems like dealing with these types of people is half the challenge. I mean, you just have to vet out the lower quality applicants, like the people who are not showing up on time, do not appear to be professional. Maybe they talk to you like a friend instead of a boss. Those are people you got to vet out, and you got to hire people who respect themselves, who respect you, and that's part of business. What's the average closing rate for residential leads, and how to mitigate mass rescheduling so it doesn't affect estimated weekly income? What's a good preemptive measures? Well, for mass rescheduling, that typically only happens during holidays, and usually it's just moving in a day or a few days, so it's not really a big issue I've really dealt with. But as far as average closing rate, you should probably shoot between 30 to 50%. 50% is obviously high, but and also it depends on your lead source. Like Meta leads, the percent of leads you're even able to get into contact with is much lower than like LSA. So I wouldn't even say, let's say 30 to 50% of people you get on the phone with, you should be able to close, in my opinion. Oh, Adriana, are you talking about you don't want to work for like a larger commercial company, like you want to go directly and own the contract yourself? Yeah, I wouldn't work with any larger janitorial companies that are trying to sub out the work to you. I mean, they're going to take all the margin and leave you with like, standard hourly rate. But no one has called in, so I'm very annoyed about that. Could someone call me, please? Someone call me. Amy, call me. Adriana, call me. I'm just kidding. If you guys are busy, don't actually have to call me. But I would like to answer someone's like question on the phone. I think it could be very helpful for the viewers watching. So if you want to call me, anyone on YouTube, I'll put my number over there. Give me 1 second. We're getting a phone call. Let's go. Okay, let me know if you guys could hear me. Hello, Selena?
Hi.
Selena,
You
welcome.
said someone called me and I took the challenge.
Oh, you're the best. Welcome to Cleaning Hotline. You are our first caller. Happy to have you on.
Hi. So my question is what I am struggling with, just starting not that long ago is just getting my name out there and advertising and marketing and getting some clients. Like, what are good ways to get my name out there, get my business out there, and just get some clients, because that's really what I'm struggling with.
That's a great question. But let me ask you this, Selena. What are you currently doing to get clients?
Advertising on Facebook. I'm putting signs up in neighborhoods. I'm passing out business cards, like currently I'm at Costco with my kids. Or I asked, when I go to different small businesses, I asked if I can put my business cards up on their, like where they have their business cards up there.
Okay.
It's kind of like that.
And when you say advertising in Facebook, do you mean Facebook groups or are we running Meta ads?
Some groups, Marketplace doesn't let me advertise my business. It says that it's against their rules. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of Facebook groups, it's hard to even get my post approved. Or if it does get approved, it just gets lost because there's so many other cleaners advertising as well.
Yeah, Facebook groups really take a while to get traction with cleaning. I would just run ads, Selena. I think it's like a cheat code for cleaning companies. So I would invest, as long as you're comfortable with like spending a certain amount of money every month with a little bit of uncertainty. But I would invest, whatever you can into Meta ads, whatever you're comfortable losing. And I have a good guy who actually runs Meta ads as well. But either Meta ads, LSA ads, I would do some kind of paid ads. I would continue doing the guerrilla marketing techniques with the business cards. I would get a little more aggressive with that and actually create flyers and go to like apartment complexes. I've seen great returns from that. I would also get some yard signs if you're kind of balling on the budget here and want to put in more like sweat equity. I would do some yard signs. I would do some flyers. And then most importantly, I would do some kind of either Meta ads or Google local service ads. And that's how I think you could get your schedule pretty full. Selena, is this for you or do you have cleaners working for you?
No, for me, I have people that are ready to work. I just don't have the work that, enough to have people come with me. Maybe sometimes I get deep clean for like a 3,500 square foot house and I take up another person with me, but it's not constant.
Yeah, well, you need consistent lead flow. You need to be consistently running ads, and you also need to be
And,
consistently
yeah.
getting reviews too. Do you have a Google business?
No, not. See, I wasn't sure. I'm not good at marketing. Obviously, that's why I'm asking. And I just I haven't made up my mind, like, is it worth it or not to run ads and pay for like the Google business?
It is
Which I'm gonna
100%
take
worth
your
it.
advice.
The Google business, actually, people have a misconception. It's totally free. It's free to create a Google business profile. So, and for anyone watching, it's the most high leverage thing you could do. If you have a Google business profile, you get to 200-300 reviews. It's a license to print money. You're going to be getting calls every single day. Selena, it takes a while to get there, but if you're consistent with your reviews, you're getting 2 to 3 reviews per day. You could get there relatively quickly, and Google does factor in like how consistently you're getting reviews. So it's very important to be consistent, but it's essentially just like, imagine how much you would have to pay Google local search. This is how I factor in, like, this is how I calculate how important this is to me. If you had to pay Google local service ads for those exact phone calls, you're going to pay around $50 per call. So if you get 100 to 200 reviews and you're getting 2 to 3 calls per day, that's $150 in free ad spend you're getting every single day. And so it's really the most high leverage thing you could do, and it's totally free. So I would definitely do that.
Okay.
For sure.
Oh, well, I'll take it. Definitely. I appreciate the advice, and thank you for taking my call, and I'm happy to be your first caller.
You're the best, Lena. I'm very happy you called. Thank you for calling, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we got a first call. If anyone else wants to call too, we could do that as well. Yeah, John, that's a really good point. If you could build relationships with property managers, real estate companies, that will definitely help you get ahead. Even like at these apartment complexes, like that going into a leasing agent could be the entry point to building that relationship with the property manager that's running that complex. We had a bunch of questions while I was on that call, so bear with me, guys. I'm going to try to get back to that. What's up, John? Appreciate you watching. Someone asked, what monthly revenue do most convert to a W-2 business? I wouldn't be able to answer that. I don't think there's a revenue where people convert to a W-2 business. I think that most people convert to W-2 business if they're dealing with like a specific constraint. Usually that constraint in cleaning is quality control and the ability to enforce SOPs. And with 1099s, if you're really struggling with that issue, that's why most people convert into W-2. Or if you're going into commercial and you want to standardize supplies, or if you want to standardize supplies in residential, that's another reason too, which comes down to quality control. So it's not really monthly revenue. It's like what solution, or what problem does that solve? What problem does converting from 1099s to W-2 solve? And for most people, that's usually the answer to that is usually quality control. How can people get more Airbnb clients? That's a good question. There are different ways to get Airbnb clients. There's also ways you could scrape Airbnb.com and reach out to the owner. Once you get their address, you have to skip trace their address for the number. So that could be a good strategy to reach out to Airbnb owners. If you want more detail on that, well, I'll see what the responses are to that. I could get into that as well. But I think you could also run meta ads to Airbnb owners. That could be a pretty good strategy to target them and offering some kind of special. Someone asked how many locations you got right now. I have 3 locations in Florida. We service 3 counties, 2 on the East Coast, 1 on the West Coast, and multiple towns and cities. How many people is best to cleaning 4 houses daily, standard sizes? I mean, If you want them all to go to every single house, like 4 houses a day, probably gonna need 3 people so you could get in and out quick. And again, it really depends on the sizes. Let's see. Jaquiz, thank you for the setup. We recently added on this. Thank you for the comment. We recently built out the new office of the apartment. Are you investing in Google Leads? What do you budget per month per location? I'm actually not investing in Google Leads anymore because we have really good SEO. So we get 2 to 3 calls per day plus website inquiries. So it's really, and I'm comfortable with like our MRR. I'm comfortable with the amount of people who reach out to us on a day-to-day basis just from our Google business profile. So no, we are currently not running ads. If my goal is to grow it to 100K per month, I would absolutely be running ads. And I am actually contemplating turning AdSpend back on and hiring a full-time sales rep or another VA just to handle strictly sales. Yeah, like John said, look to support them. Like when I go into buildings, I would bring something. Like don't show up empty-handed. Bring some munchkins. Bring some, coffee. Don't go crazy. Don't break the bank, but do what you can. And I think showing something is just a nice gesture. Now, guys, I'm ready for another call. So someone call me. Let's get another caller in. You got my number. I'm going to repeat my number. It's a new number, so I don't have the number off the top of my head. It's 561-473-4102. 561-473-4102. If you want to give me a call me up. We could talk. We could chat. Answer any questions. I think it'd be useful. We'll get one more call in. We might be able to do 2 more calls by the end of this live. If your goal is to sell the clean business, do you think a W-2 business or 1099 would return a higher multiple? It depends on which model you're profiting with more, I would say. I mean, W-2 is probably more stable. What I think matters most, though, is just like your profit margins and your consistent revenue. That's probably what matters the most in terms of selling the business. John's going in with flowers, chocolates, handwritten notes, and a business card. I mean, I love it. I think the more, the merrier. Bring them a bottle of wine, sweeten them up, take them on a date. Do what you got to do to close the deal, okay? Someone call me, though, please. Let's get some more questions in the chat. We're doing this weekly. Every Thursday, 6 p.m., we're going live. We're answering questions. We're doing calls. But if no one calls me, I'm not going to do the call thing again. So someone's got to call me. We're live on we're on both YouTube and Facebook as well. And I'm dropping a new video. I just dropped a video on how to build. Oh, we're getting a call. Let's go. Cleaning hotline. How's it going? Welcome to Cleaning Hotline.
Hi, Max. My name is Jill. I just posted that comment about the commercial building that needs cleaning 5 times a week.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. Okay, good. You can hear me okay. All right. Yeah, so I just wanted to this will be our first steady deal, and I'm petrified to underprice it, and I'm also petrified to overprice it. So if you can give me any more feedback, we're thinking that, my partner and I are going to start cleaning this on our own, and so that we can get to know the job and we'll learn how to train employees. Our goal is obviously to have employees who are going to be W-2 and work the jobs for us. But I'm looking for some more guidance if you can share about pricing it. I'm reading online that this could be like a $12,000 a month opportunity, but then I'm also reading that it's around $4,000 a month. So
Okay.
there's such a
Well, it'll
big,
probably fall somewhere in between there. But let's. I wish I had my pen and paper, but I have a document I can pull up for you. Let's break this down. So, yes. By the way, shout out Striker Digital. They are the best SEO agency I've worked with. Anyways, let's break this down. So it's 5 times a week.
Yes,
What's the
It's
square
eight.
footage?
8,000,
8,000 square feet. How many bathrooms?
5.
5 bathrooms. And are those single bathrooms or are those multiple stalls?
There multiple stalls. There are 2. No, okay, sorry. It's 5 bathrooms in total because there's 2 ladies, 2 men, and then 1 private. So
And all of those
total.
are just single stalls?
yes,
Okay. And then how many, I guess, could you give me an outline of like what they wanted done each cleaning?
yeah. So they want. I'll tell you right now. I have it written down. So they basically want like basic dusting, vacuuming daily, right, and the bathroom's done. And then what he also really wants to do is to have like the outside hallways because it's a big building.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to have the outside hallways and railings cleaned. And he also wants us to like blow out leaves from his garage that's all the way at the bottom of the unit. So nightly would be like clean entrance doors, empty all trash, wipe reception area, wipe down conference rooms, vacuum, sweep, mop. And then when he goes into like the weekly, it's just to dust the chairs and pour disinfectant down drains. And monthly would be like dust window seals, corners, cobwebs, things like that.
Yeah. So I don't want to give you the wrong pricing. I think I'd be doing you a disservice just giving you a wrong pricing, but I'll give you a tip on what I do when I really struggle with pricing. I would find your best cleaner, someone who has experience doing jobs of this size. I would walk through the property with them, and I would just ask them, like, go through the property, ask them how long you think it would take. Don't ask them what you need to pay them. Don't ask them anything. Just ask them how long they think it would take, and you'll get a good idea from there. So if she says, hey, I think it's going to take me 4 hours per day, and her hourly rate is $20 per hour, well, now you know your costs. Are you going to also have to purchase supplies for her as well?
No, he's purchasing all the supplies.
Okay, and is she going to bring her own equipment?
There is no equipment to bring. He has everything.
Oh, like vacuum. He's got the cart to push around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He has it all.
Okay, great. So so you don't have to cover supplies, which is great. So you just have to cover hourly rate, and then whatever you're comfortable making on top of that. So let's just say our hourly rate is $20. If you want to make 30% on that job, just mark it up by 30%. If you want to make, obviously the higher of a profit margin you're going to make on the job, the less likelihood you have of actually securing it. So I would figure out like what would be the dream price, quote at that. And when you do bring out a quote, I would actually go meet with the guy in person, have it laminated, piece of paper going over a scope of work, deliverables, the price, of course, and display it as a monthly price. But I think it's really important to start at that price and then know what your bottom line is.
Okay.
Because he might just agree to the original price and great, but if not, you could go a little bit lower and lock him in.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Thank you for calling in.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
So Amber, no, I saw your comment. No, I didn't put it on the pricing calculator. That's only the pricing calculator. It's only for residential. So if you want the link to the pricing calculator, it's in the link below. And if you want a link to Schedule Drop, where you could actually embed essentially the pricing calculator on your website for people to sign up or book jobs with you, book cleanings with you online, just click the link below. It's start.scheduledrop.com or scheduledrop.com. And you could book a demo with me and I'll walk you through it. But we set everything up for you. We import everything into your account. We make sure your pricing is dialed in. So you're using 100% of the software by the time you sign up. And what I love about it is that, one, I don't have to worry about texting and reminding clients or cleaners. And two, billing. Like, billing was a big pain for me. So now it just automatically charges the client after the cleaning is completed. And also, of course, the online booking is very nice when you're getting like 12 a.m. booking appointments. Making money while you sleep. That's the goal, right, guys? Amber, next one, we got to have you on. If you're still watching. How many people we got in the YouTube? So any questions, guys, let me know. I could probably take one more call if anyone wanted to call in before we log off. How do you determine pricing? Leah, pricing is just determined by an hourly rate. Like, I just figure out what I want to or how many hours it's going to take, and then price it from there. And if you're struggling with how many hours you think it's going to take, we have that pre-built on Schedule Drop. You also have the pricing calculator you could use for free. But I'd figure out how long you think it's going to take and price out accordingly from there. Hi, Tien. Thank you for joining. Have any questions about cleaning, sales, hiring, marketing? And we could always do another call-in. But if you guys want to hear a crazy story about what happened to one of my cleaners this week, I posted this in the Facebook group. It got a lot of attention. But one of our cleaners decided to not show up to the job 3 times in a row, but tell the client, I'm in Florida, Tien, tell the client to cover for her. So the client was getting charged, the cleaner was getting paid, but no work was actually being done. I'm in Florida, or actually I'm in the United States, Kelly. But the client kind of covered for it, didn't tell us until like after the 3rd cleaning, and then called us and disputed the charges, and we weren't going to charge him. We were going to refund him regardless. Because at the end of the day, you got to take responsibility as a business owner. We should have never put that client in that position where a cleaner was, telling him to cover for her. And so that was our poor hiring decision. At the end of the day, that falls on us. So obviously we fired her and not working for her again, not working with her again, ever again. But that's just part of doing business. And we'll probably never get the money we paid it for, but it's all right. It's a small cost for the headaches she probably would have caused in the future. Where are you? I am in Florida, the United States of America. And someone asked who developed our SEO. I think SEO is important. In the very beginning, it might not be like the biggest thing because you need to stack like reviews with SEO. So I would, like, if you have no reviews on your Google Business Profile and you have like all the on-page website SEO you could have in the world, like it's not going to do nearly as good or well if you were to actually stack on consistent reviews, grow your Google business presence, and then do like website SEO and some off-page stuff too. But for that, I would work with Striker Digital. They're the best in the industry, best in the business. Tell Bodhi I sent you. No, John, it didn't affect things too much. And we actually still retain the client. So, I'm sure we'll break even on that. What did Amy say? Kelly said, one of my ex cleaners tried poaching my clients last week. Yep, it happens. I've had cleaners message me directly because I would become to be a test client multiple times and try to poach me. I laugh and I just get excited because I'm like, thank God I caught this like before I even sent them to a client. So I've had that happen multiple times. It's always going to happen. It's part of doing business. Wow, Amber, is this a residential client? But if that's the case, I highly doubt it's really enforceable. So um, I'm sure she could just, stop paying and tell the client like you want out of that contract. I would try if the client's really not happy, then I would try to convince her to get out of that 12-month contract, unless she's like really close to the end of it. But that's crazy. I've never heard that for residential. I have considered it because it could increase enterprise value of your company and potentially decrease churn. But I haven't done it, so I don't have any like problem with it. I could see the benefit in doing so, and I think you can incentivize clients to get into contracts by giving them a better rate. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up. It was a great live. Thank you to everyone watching, everyone who called in. Really appreciate you. Every Thursday, 6 p.m., we're going to do these lives. If you do need a scheduling software, check out scheduledrop.com, built by yours truly. I promise you, if you look at it, compare us to everyone else, we're the best software in the game. So if you need a scheduling software to operate your business, check out scheduledrop.com. But if you also need a free program, I put together a very in-depth free program. I'll link it in the comments below so you could go through it. We go over lead gen, hiring, sales, systems, really everything. So I'll put that in the link below. Again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. All right, guys. Peace. Appreciate you. See you, Paul. See you guys.